welcome to Deborah's Healing Kitchen. I am Deborah Peak Haynes, and I just want to welcome you to this awesome program where hopefully you'll be inspired to have better health. And I know sometimes we think we have to do so much to get healthier, and all I want you to know, it's really simple. Don't make it difficult, because if you do, you just will end up not doing anything, and your health will not benefit because you just won't make any changes. So today I just want you to be encouraged that this is your time. This is the day that you start a new way of thinking first, and then a new way of living. So first you have to change your mind. When I went through my whole issue with my health, when I was trying to conceive, the first thing I had to do is change my mind. And that came after my holistic doctor asked me what was my purpose in life. And at the time, I had no idea what that was supposed to be or what I was supposed to say. But it caused me to start thinking differently, and then reading books about health, emotional health, physical health, and all these different things. I started feeding myself mentally, and it helped me change my thinking, which then helped me start a new path for living healthier. And that's what I want you to get from our time together. We've got to start thinking differently, because if you don't, you'll continue the same old habits and then get the same outcome. So today I just want to talk about what's in your pantry. If you went to your pantry right now and you looked, and if you saw, what you're looking at, would you say it's healthy, unhealthy? Do you know? Do you eat mostly out of your pantry, or do you eat mostly out of your refrigerator? That makes a big difference, because if you're eating mostly out of your pantry, that's a problem, because that means you're not having fresh fruits and vegetables. Now, there are some things in your pantry you will need and you'll need to use, but you need to start eating more out of your refrigerator, because that means that's vital food, healthy food, fresher food, and so it's not processed and it doesn't have chemicals unless it has pesticides, and of course you need to wash that off. And then also, if you can get organic, but if you can't, just make sure you start eating fresh vegetables. So remember, fresh vegetables that are not organic is much better than having canned vegetables and fruit. So remember that. So are you eating mostly out of your pantry? Or are you eating mostly out of your refrigerator? That will make a difference in your health. So I want to encourage you to be open-minded. So please change your mind. What are your goals? Do you want more energy? Do you want to look better? Do you want to lose some weight? Do you want to be able to move and not be crippled by pain in your joints? I mean, all these different things have a lot to do with the types of diet that you choose for yourself. I know sometimes we get inundated with all of these fast food restaurants, and every now and then that's okay, but I see too many people eating this every single day. That's not going to work if you want to be healthier. You're going to have to eat healthier most of the time, and occasionally if you want these fast foods, and even if you want the fast foods, then you need to limit the ones that are worse than the others, because there is a such thing. Because chemicals are in a lot of fast foods, a lot of grease, all these things that are not really good for your body. So start thinking about your health, and you do have options. So today, I have a book. I want you. Hopefully you'll get this copy, but I wrote this book because I wanted people to have a simplified way of thinking about how they can start a healthier lifestyle. So this is called A Simplified Guide to Healthy Living. And in this book, there's a lot of information. It's easy reading, but hopefully compelling enough for you to learn from. And I have a chapter on page 31 called the pantry and things you need to have in the pantry. So I just want to go through a few things that I have in my pantry that I would suggest you have in your pantry. I don't have those items that you shouldn't have in your pantry, but I can name a few of those. But let's start out on the positive side. So this is what I usually have. Sesame oil is really good. It's a lot of health benefits, and it gives a nice light taste to your food. And also it's good for, your cholesterol, having better cholesterol. So I use it a lot. It can take high heat. Also, avocado oil is very good, and it can take a little higher heat, but this is good for your arteries. It gives a very neutral flavor to your food, so I use a lot of that. And also, olive oil is great for your liver, really good for your arteries as well. And olive oil is just one of those higher quality oils, but you don't want to use it if you're going to have a lot of high heat because it could get rancid. But olive oil is something that you should have more of. And I like this particular brand. They have a very good reputation. So I think about brands also when I'm buying some of my products. But the other thing I want you to have in your pantry, especially during the colder months, steel cut oats. So if you want to lower cholesterol, increase your fiber. So if you're diabetic, fiber is really important because you want to balance your blood sugar. So it takes longer to digest, say, steel cut oats than, say, like white rice. White rice turns into sugar quickly, whereas a complex carbohydrate slowly breaks down in your system, which means it's giving you energy over a period of time, and it won't give you a sugar rush. So that's what you want. You want something that slowly breaks down in your system, has the fiber, and the fiber helps you eliminate, because that's really important. So I think you should try the steel cut oats. I would, if you want a little flavor, you can use some vanilla extract and also cinnamon. Dash of cinnamon, and I like to use pure maple syrup. I don't have it out here, but that's one of the things I do have, pure maple syrup. The reason why I use pure maple syrup is because it has minerals. It's a lower glycemic index, so if you're diabetic, you could have just a little. But check with your doctor. I am not a licensed healthcare provider. However, I am a concerned lay person. I've done a lot of studying, so I'm just sharing with you what I've learned. So steel cut oats with maybe a teaspoon of maple syrup. Pure maple syrup, remember, not that other stuff that just says syrup. Stay away. If it says corn syrup, run away. It's extremely toxic. Do not believe that it works just like sugar. It's worse than sugar, and that's pretty bad. And when I say sugar, I'm talking about white sugar. Stay away from white sugar. But anyway, so steel cut oats. That's very good. If you have children, start them off the day with really good nutrition so they can think and focus and be full. And steel cut oats, very inexpensive. So steel cut oats. Also, some of us have issues with gluten. So here is gluten-free baking flour. And so I always try to keep this around. I'm trying to do a little bit more gluten-free, but also I try to buy flour that's organic as well. Flour in this country is different than when you go overseas. Their flour typically has winter wheat, which is a harder wheat, which is better for you. So I read my labels and I try to find winter wheat or hard wheat. That's what I try to find if I'm buying flour. But this is good for people that are trying to avoid gluten. And gluten can cause mucus and a lot of other things. So if you want to avoid that, make sure you have gluten-free flour. And here's some alternatives to sugar. This is monk fruit sweetener, 0 calories, 0 calories. And you might be able to tolerate this better than white sugar. And you can bake with it. I bake sometimes with the coconut sugar, and it's a low glycemic index. You see that? So if you're a diabetic, you might be able to have a little bit of coconut sugar. You know, we all want something a little sweet. So I like this particular product. It bakes very, very well. If I'm having tea, or even if I want occasional coffee, I will use a little bit of raw honey. Raw honey, not processed. This honey comes from Texas, so that means if you're living in Texas, the bees here are in your environment, and they say this is really good if you're suffering from allergies, which occasionally I get. And so raw honey is good because it might help your body fight those allergies better. But for my tea, I'll have my raw honey. Now there's another sweetener I don't have. We can talk about that one later. But there are alternatives to white sugar. You don't have to have it, okay? You can bake a cake, pies. In fact, this works really good if you're going to make an apple pie or even a cobbler. It works very well. And I've told other people to use it that are bakers, and they said it worked really good for them. Okay, the other thing is I like to make homemade biscuits, and hopefully in one of these videos I'll be able to show you how I make my homemade biscuits. But first of all, we have to take care of the important information, which is you want to stay away from aluminum. So I like this baking powder because it doesn't have aluminum. Why is that important? Well, they have found people that are suffering from Alzheimer's or memory loss have aluminum in their brains. So aluminum can be absorbed if you're eating items with aluminum. So make sure that you stay away from that. That's really, really important. All right, so aluminum's also in pots and pans. You want to stay away from pots and pans that are aluminum. You want stainless steel and cast iron, as long as it stays seasoned, that's good. I have a section in the book about different types of pots and pans, but it's really important, stay away from aluminum. I don't let my food touch foil. If at all possible, I will wrap it with parchment paper and then put the foil around the parchment paper. So again, that's why I like this brand, because there's no aluminum. So make sure you read your baking powder if you do any baking to make sure there's no aluminum. All right, so we talked about the oils. Now seasoning, I use my garlic powder, parsley, bay leaves. All those things are in my seasoning cabinet. But I want to talk a little bit about salt. So there's sea salt, and this is Himalayan salt. This is a little pricey, so I just want you to know, but it should last you a long time. This is a high quality salt that has minerals, so I stay away from just pure sodium. And the only time I really use it, if I needed to put in a bath with some Epsom salt, I might do that. Or if there's ice outside, I might sprinkle a little pure salt outside and it'll crack the ice. But other than that, I don't cook with it. So this is Himalayan salt. And we need a certain amount of salt in our system. If you have high blood pressure, I know you're trying to stay away, but salt gives you a little balance. So make sure that you have an adequate amount, but not too much, because that'll throw you off. So we all need salt in our system. Let's see. So we talked about the sugar. So we have different examples, including this, and the flour. Everyone should have apple cider vinegar. Now this is Bragg's, and this is raw apple cider vinegar. So this is good for a number of things. Gargle if you have a sore throat, cooking, making dressings. You want to put a little on some of your vegetables. I mean, there's just so many things you can do with Bragg's apple cider vinegar. But you should really keep this. It can help your stomach. You put maybe a tablespoon in 4 ounces of water and you can sip it, help your digestion, help increase potassium. So everyone should have apple cider vinegar in their pantry. And you don't have to use a lot of it, but you do want to use it every now and then. But this is really good for making dressing. You don't need dressing that's heavy with cream and dousing your salads, because you're really kind of diminishing the benefits of this wonderful, fresh, wonderful light salad by dousing it with heavy buttermilk dressing. And I know how much you like the ranch, but you can have ranch that's vegan, that's better for you. But anyway, you can make your own dressing with the vinegar. Now, I also like this particular dressing. This is ginger and sesame, and this is by the same company, Bragg's. It's really light, but it's very flavorful. And if you want flavor, this is really good, and it's very light. So it's not going to have any, anything heavy in it. It'll make your salad taste wonderful, and it won't be laden with, buttermilk and cream and all of that. So try to start having lighter dressings for your salad. And you don't want to overdo it. When we travel overseas, it's always interesting to me how salads are different, where they're not heavy, but the dressings are lighter, and they really emphasize the vegetables. Now, the vegetables, if they're organic, they tend to taste better. So overseas, mostly every place we travel overseas, everything's naturally organic. It's only here that we have so many chemicals in our food. So the salads overseas taste really, really good without a lot on it. And that's what we really want to focus on, the taste of the vegetables. But in order to do that, you have to clean your palate. After you start detoxing and eating right, your palate will change, and so your taste buds will change. I promise you, the things that you just thought you had to have, eventually your body will say, we don't like this anymore. So I'm just trying to show you ways that you can get started on this path, and maybe some of you are already doing very well, and hopefully what I'm sharing with you is helpful. Now, the other thing I want to talk about quickly, in the morning I like to have my green tea. There's different varieties. Green tea is a great antioxidant, fighting cancer. It helps keep you alert. So there's a lot of benefits to green tea. So I like this type of green tea. I like the jasmine green tea. And if you have a hard time going to sleep at night, this can just knock me out in a good way. So if I drink a cup of lemon balm tea, which is really, really good for stress, about an hour later, I am like nodding off and then sleeping very, very well. So I highly recommend lemon balm tea. You can get this at most health food stores. So these are some things that I have on my pantry. Now, as I said, page 31 of my book, I have a lot of different things that we can talk about as we continue this time together, and I share with you things that have helped me, and hopefully these things will help you as well. But please be open-minded and know that you can change. Even a few changes can make a huge difference in your health, like drinking more water, eating more salads, and having more vegetables and complex carbohydrates. So this is just an introduction, and hopefully this will help you get started, and I look forward to our next time together. If you have any questions, let me know. Please go to my website. It's www.deborahpeakhaynes.com. Facebook page is Deborah's Healing Kitchen. Look forward to talking with you, and I look forward to getting your questions. Thank you.